Hello, this is DerTebbers.
And DasTebbers.
Yeah, I had a mint. Right? I took too deep of a breath after having a peppermint.
Good job.
Yeah, don't. Pro tip: don't try to have a peppermint right before you turn on the mic because you'll cough. We are back from Seattle and the Penny Arcade Expo. Yay! Yay. No yay?
Well, considering they still had one more day that we didn't get to go to.
Well, I know, but, work calls.
Work calls, yeah. Prior engagements and all that fun stuff.
Actually, they don't call, but that's what I like. So, today we're just going to talk about stuff. Let's start at the start and end at the end.
That sounds like a good thing.
Actually, we'll just start at the start. We won't end at the end because we'll get off topic.
Of course not. The middle's going to go off wandering off somewhere, but we know all about that with the middle game syndrome.
Yes. So let's start by, for those of you that don't know completely, the PAX Prime Expo is held in downtown Seattle in the Washington State Convention Center, which is too damn small.
Grossly undersized. It's kind of spreading out everywhere.
Yeah, last time we went, which was 2 years ago, there were four of the panel halls were there in the convention center. This year, there were no panels in the convention center. Everything was held at the Paramount, the Hyatt, or the Sheraton. And then what was the panel rooms became the free play rooms for the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and then the League of Legends tournament room. That's what became of those. And what was the bring your own computer moved over to the annex to be replaced by more stuff on the floor. So the best I can think is next year they'll move the free play out of the convention center to one of the other hotels.
Heaven only knows. As long as it's not out on the street where everybody will die of sunburn.
Yes. And, the best thing about PAX, it's not a cosplay heavy, but when you walk up Pike Street in Seattle and you see every possible video game character just walking down the street like it's a totally normal day.
Are you kidding me? I saw the full contingent of the Power Rangers walk by.
Yes.
I saw a femme Deadpool leading a pyramid head up Pike Street.
Right. And the best part is they're walking up Pike Street next to a businessman in a suit and tie carrying his briefcase. And the businessman's just walking like, meh, normal.
Not even a second look, no.
The problem with the convention center is it's so small, though. It's like
getting cozy.
Yeah, you really end up in the lap of the person you're standing next to when you're standing up, which is a really difficult thing to do, but it happens. And then there were the ticket issues where tickets sold out in like 3 hours. So if you weren't like right on the ball, you were screwed. And it's not spread out, but it's like this labyrinth. It's like being Pan in Pan's Labyrinth almost.
Oh, jeez, all about the hallucinations.
I don't know. I think I hallucinated some of these games.
Could be. Oh, jeez.
But you walk into a room, and if you go left, you find a hall that leads to another room. If you go right, you find a hall that leads to a room. And off that room, it leads to another room that is led from another room that leads back around into the hall that you just started in. And then there's escalators everywhere and like signs that point you into brick walls and...
Or glass windows on the 4th floor.
Right. And you're just like, what?
You just hop into a line and figure out where it goes. Half the time it's going to the League of Legends room.
And for being a bunch of violent gamers...
Yeah, it really was pretty organized. I mean, I thought violent games make violent people, but I got more excuse me's there than I have in any public situation ever.
Yep. And then there was almost no security. The security was there, but it wasn't visible. We saw one instance of a guy that was trying to steal someone's badge, trying to fight his way out from a couple security guys. He wasn't going anywhere.
No.
And the best part is the two security guards are fighting this guy, and like standing nearby are a Power Ranger and a guy in a riot gear outfit just standing watching. It's just like, really?
It's a little surreal, yeah.
Yes. Come on, Power Ranger, put on your ring or whatever you do. Call your mecha thingamajiggy, whatever. Shut up. So I know I'm confusing Power Rangers with Thundercats. Leave me alone. No, not Thundercats. What was the one? They had a mechanical cat.
I know what you're talking about. The name is not coming to me. It'll come to me randomly later.
Just scream it out.
Yep, pretty much.
It wasn't all about video games, though. There were tabletop and card games. There were tabletop and card games.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The entire annex. 2 years ago, the annex was Halo, but this year, the first floor of the annex, the entire first floor was Magic the Gathering. You just went in there, signed up. They gave you like a skill level, and they even had, you could even build your own deck. They had a whole bunch of cards there, so you could just come in, no deck, sign your name and your skill level, build yourself a deck, and they'd pair you with somebody, and you'd go and play. And if you'd had no idea, they'd teach you.
Yeah, there were people walking around giving pointers and teaching and setting up like that, teaching games, and I didn't see very many empty seats.
No, there weren't.
There was plenty of polite cues, though.
And then downstairs from that, the entire floor was D&D, and they were, you like walked up to a table to watch them, they're like, oh, hey, join in, come on, sit down. And it's just like this giant community of antisocial people who are being social.
I know. So much for stereotypes.
Right. The entire panels on how to play. And it was very welcoming. You get all these invitations to play. There were free play areas for tabletop games. So if you wanted to figure out how Ticket to Ride worked, you go into a free play game, pick up Ticket to Ride, go, I don't know how to play. And 3 people would be like, hey, I'll show you how. And you'd end up with a game and 3 new friends.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is the most awesome picture. I'll put it on the screen. The girl looks extremely confused.
Her steed doesn't look much better. What is it?
Her steed looks constipated.
It's like a foxalope a bit.
A foxalope a bit.
Foxalope. Well, it looks like a fox and a jackalope and a rabbit. Jackalope is part rabbit, but you know.
Well, a moose. A
foxamoose a bit.
Foxamoose bit.
Foxamoose a bit, yeah.
But with like alligator eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the. Actually, they look more like raptor, maybe birds.
Foxamoose.
It's an avian foxamoose a bit.
It's a foxamoose bit who has avian flu.
Anyway, if there's story behind this, please let me know. Because I'm just going in saying this thing looks interesting.
And with a very confused girl on back. Let's talk about what will redefine video games.
Yeah, definitely. The big changes, the future of gaming,
right,
as seen at PAX this time.
Yes. Well, and it's, first off, it was always capped. The line for the Oculus Rift, Oculus VR's Oculus Rift, the line for Oculus VR's Oculus Rift was always capped. After the line got to be approximately 3 hours long,
wait time, 3 hours,
they'd cap the line and they'd say, check back in 15 minutes. It never went down. I don't think it ever went down.
Every time I walked by, there was always an enforcer standing there with a sign that said, literally, check back in like 15 minutes.
Right. We, however, were wily in our ways, and we got to play it with an Oculus Rift by using other methods, because if you knew where to look, you could find Oculus Rifts elsewhere for other demos. Why do we say it's the next big step? Because the last big massive change was when we went from 2D rendered graphics to 3D rendered graphics.
Yeah, it's like the sprite versus polygon argument that goes forever.
Right. Now we're moving from 2D, because I don't count 3D. This whole wear glasses 3D crap was okay, but you couldn't look around. You still looked straight ahead.
You still had a 2D screen you're looking at.
Right. This becomes the next big jump, because it goes from a 2D screen, whether you wear 3D glasses or not, to a fully immersive experience where you turn your head and the screens are turning with you. And it's amazing. It makes you nauseous as heck the first time.
Oh, jeez. I had to go sit down after that.
But it is immersive. It works with glasses. It comes with a bunch of internal lenses that you can change out. So if you have glasses of various strengths, you can change the lens to work with your glasses, which is awesome.
That's if it doesn't fit already with the way it's built. As long as it doesn't hit your glasses, you can still function just fine in there with them. So, you build it to your comfort, I suppose.
Right. And what we tried was actually, we tried part of a larger set, but what we were trying was relatively low res. It wasn't actually a game. It was purely a demo. And I know when I was in there, everything felt like it would go in and out of focus constantly.
Yeah.
And that might have been just my glasses because of the proximity to the lens of my glasses, or it could have been the demo itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure which. I mean, it wasn't anything HD by any stretch, but as a proof of concept, I'm totally sold on the Rift with it.
Right. Now, what we found when we walked by the Oculus VR and saw it was capped all the time, and we went up to the 6th floor because we were going to look for the Omni. And the Omni is the multi-directional treadmill. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But well, we'll talk about it now, actually.
We're working our way there.
Yeah, the Omni was originally built using the Kinect as a motion sensor and the Oculus Rift. And you would move in the direction you wanted to move. You could turn and twist, and the Kinect was reading what you were doing and allowing you to get more immersed into the game you were playing. However, the Kinect has a relatively broad margin of error, we'll call it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of wiggle room in it because
Yeah.
it was a Kinect, and we all know you get in a small enough room, the Kinect is just crap. So we found the Omni, and sitting right next to the Omni was
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. They are using technology from a British company that built these motion sensors with millimeter or 1 degree sensitivity.
Yes.
And it's used for...
Initially, it was used for rehabilitation.
Right.
To gamify rehabilitation, because every millimeter of improvement in your range of motion counts in rehabilitation. So,
Right. So it made sense there, and so they took it and they created this STEM system that is going to do some massive redefinition. We'll talk about that in just a second. But when the Omni team, who got a booth right next to STEM's like, hey, here, let's try our STEM system on the legs of the person in the Omni. And they strapped it on, and the Kinect couldn't tell between running and walking. The STEM knows running and walking.
you can go from a full-on run to a dead stop, no hesitation.
Right. So what they found was the person that was demoing in the Omni had better stamina than Gordon Freeman. So they went to the console and they disabled they turned on Infinite Run.
Yeah, they turned off the boost system that was supposed to be in the suit.
Right. So then basically the game, Gordon Freeman in the game is limited by the player's physical ability to continue running. And the one guy that we saw, there were a couple guys that did it, but one of them, ex-military, and he would just run everywhere. It was constant running. He was shooting down the ant lions in midair with a shotgun, something that even with a mouse, it can be a very difficult thing, but because he was sighting down the barrel of a gun, it was perfection.
It was more natural. I mean, it's natural movements rather than wiggling a stick to move your head.
Right. And the Omni, where the Oculus is going to redefine the concept of immersion gaming, the Omni is going to redefine shooters.
It's going to redefine first person.
Right. Well, could you imagine, here all the Battlefield 4 guys playing with their mouse and keyboard, or their souped up like glove thing that Logitech has, where you have like a unit on one hand and a unit on the other hand, and they're playing like that, and they come into a game and they face somebody running an Omni. they're going to be taken down.
Oh, the Omni treadmill it's kind of a misnomer. It's not a treadmill. Nothing moves. What it is it's kind of a bowl-shaped area that kind of fits to the movement of your legs as you walk. And it comes with shoes that go with it, and they have these plates on the bottom of them that give almost no resistance to walking and running. So it's not really so much moving parts as it is lower resistance to let you move freely. So I always wondered how that worked.
Yeah, and you get, when you buy the Omni, which is a $500 piece of equipment.
Yeah.
You have to give them your shoe size, and then they'll ship you shoes with these pieces built into them.
And you can get more shoes if you want more people to play. It's like buying another controller for your system.
Right.
About the same price, too.
I'm going to buy another controller. Here's your controller. It's shoes.
The way it did, the Kinect and the stem system, both would sense the movements of the legs. Currently, the Omni doesn't have any sensors in it. It just enables you to move and not fall.
Right.
Or go over the couch.
Yeah, because the way they've devised it, it's an 8-panel device, and those panels coincide to WASD, basically, roughly to WASD.
That's what they're working in now.
Right. So I mean that's awesome. And then you have the Oculus Rift on. You've got your Omni, and then you get the stem system with its millimeter accuracy. And the stem system isn't just for the Omni. Like
No.
These guys, they had 3D printed things that they were looking at creating. So you could, let's say you were playing a Skyrim, where you're going to use a sword or a bow and arrow, and because there's millimeter accuracy on it, you could use your sword. You could flail about sort of like the Wii, but only with sensitivity.
Yeah, you can flail about with the Wii only rather than having a sensor of it's moving or it's not. You know where it's going and also how much force.
Right, that was the other thing, because it had force, so you could soft pedal something or you could hard pedal something. I think that was really awesome. He showed a couple of different attachments, golf club, a gun type attachment on there.
There were nice one-handed controllers.
Yeah, they looked like almost like brawling knuckles almost.
They did.
With controller, with thumb controls. And then what we tried, which was their demo where we were using the Oculus Rift, there was what amounted to like Wiimotes almost that control.
Almost, they were slim Wiimotes.
Yeah, like Slimline. They're the Slimline.
They were their like prototype proof of concept, but
yeah, and you'd squeeze the trigger. The thing about it though, and I think everybody I talked to that played on an Oculus Rift, whether it was downstairs or upstairs, if you talk to them, the biggest thing was, oh crap, I actually have to know the controls before I put this thing on.
I can't find the button.
Because your first instinct is, someone tells you, move the left control, and you look down and you try to look at your hand to see. And in that demo, you look down and there was your virtual hand, but there's no controller in it.
Virtual empty hand. It's like, give me the answers, hand. Nope.
Yeah, so people were saying that really the toughest thing to think about in the Oculus Rift is you have to know exactly where all of your controls are. And I don't know about many people, but I personally have a problem when I'm playing on a keyboard where my hand will slip off of the keys, and then I have to look to put my hands back on the right keys. Mm-hmm. If you got a Rift, well, you're screwed.
Exactly. If you got a Rift, you're pretty much going to throw everything out of your inventory if you're playing Minecraft.
Yes, exactly.
Or if you're playing Bastion, you're going to use up all of your heal potions.
Right. So there was the Oculus, Omni, and Stem, and I think the three of them will be the definitive next generation in shooters, adventure, RPG, MMO style games, because you can really, as long as it's first person, you can get into it, you can become your character. Like you give your character a name, and that's about as far as you get.
Yeah, you give them a name, you customize their looks, change their clothes, that's it.
Right, now you can truly become your character, see the world truly through your character's eyes. Look left and look left. Yes. What?
Look left and look right. Look around.
Whatever. look left and physically look left. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
there's always the trick, like the Track IR for the computer, the PlayStation Move, the Microsoft Kinect. They all have this thing where if you look slightly to the left, or they track your eyes and you look to the left, it moves the screen. But you still have to look ahead of you. So you can only look so far before the screen is out of your vision.
Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect there.
Right. But the Rift, you just look.
You look left and the screen stay with you.
Right.
It's also it's built in 3D. You pretty well got a plate in front of your face, and those are actually two separate screens in there. So it does build the stereoscopic 3D.
Yes, it does. Which I think also created some of the feeling of nausea, because you'd be moving.
You'd be moving very convincingly in the game.
Right, and your inner ear is telling you you're not moving.
You're still sitting.
Right, like the Oculus VR booth downstairs, they required you to be sitting at all times. You could not get up. There was somebody there at every single location making sure nobody got up, you had to sit down, and that was it. We started sitting. You could stand up if you felt the need to. There was another Oculus Rift demo going on that had you standing, but they had a guy behind everybody to catch him.
Oh, at the STEM booth, they actually had one of the STEM sensors on top of the Rift, so that if you did want to like lean up and look over a wall rather than just looking down, it would read your movements of standing up and leaning forward rather than just looking down, which is, I think, all the Rift can do.
Yeah, the Rift is purely a single plane. You have one plane to look through. The STEM allows you to fully transit 3 dimensions in just your head movement.
Right. That was fabulous.
So from the breaking edge, cutting, bleeding edge, we move to Stinky.
Because it's stinky.
This was hilarious. I saw it when we were walking through day one, and I kind of dismissed it like, meh. And then we went to the Game Station podcast with Total Biscuit, and he was making fun of it.
Oh, they were ragging on it pretty hard.
And I was like, I got to go back and check that out. And we go back and check it out. And, the marketing is terrible. The marketing is just bad. The concept, though.
The concept is amazing. The name you won't forget.
It's true.
But it's still horrible.
Yeah. It's also expensive. It's $179.
For 4 buttons.
Yeah. It is a 4-button USB foot pad. It is a rocker switch. So you literally put your foot down and rock it around to hit the various buttons.
You do kind of have to shuffle if you have little feet, though.
Right. But it's big enough for you to stand on it if you so desire.
Yeah, if you want to try DDR on that. Hardcore mode, more power to ya.
Yes, exactly. It's programmable with the Windows or a Mac, and then you can move it to Linux if you're, like our household where we have Windows machines and then DOS runs a Linux box. You can use 2 of them on one machine, 3 if you have more than 2 feet, presumably. If you have 3 feet.
Not sure how that works.
There might be mutants out listening to us.
Gotta represent.
Right. If you're a 3-legged mutant, 4-legged mutants are even allowed, though that would then be a cat. And your cat's feet are not big enough to pressure the Stinky.
Maybe on the lighter setting.
Your cat's just Stinky.
The Stinky does ship with 3 different resistance springs to go in it, so you don't have to stomp on it. And it's also kind of nice because it is a rocker switch. It's not like you're going to tucker out your leg having to pick it up and deal with it like you would with a foot pedal.
Right. Now,
single button foot pedal.
Yeah, but it is digital, which means it's on off. So it's truly a button. They did say, we asked them about it, they did say they were working on an analog version to use for racing. I could envision, until he said it was digital, I could envision having a Stinky for like Euro Truck Simulator 2, because you could gently apply forward pressure for gas, gently apply backward pressure for brake. As it stands, because it's an on-off switch, that doesn't really work.
You're either hauling on the gas or hauling on the brakes.
Right, which is sort of how I drive anyway, but that's a different story. But what it's great for is MMOs, because you can preload your spells or your whatever onto the Stinky. You can also, if you're doing first-person shooters, the example we were given was if you're a sniper and you need crouch and zoom, well, now you just put it on the Stinky and you just rock your foot, and then you get that positioning.
And you save your pinky from the crouch.
Yes, you don't have the claw. The claw.
It does, it saves each of the buttons as an on keyboard mapping. So you could actually do it as Control-C if you wanted to, if you had need.
Right. All right, so I think we'll end it here because what we're going to go into next is the AAA titles. So,
Dun, dun, dun!
sound effects, courtesy of DasTebbers.
Never said I was good at it.
Yeah, well, that's true. So we'll stop here. So really, what we came away here was PAX is awesome, as always, and we did sign up to win an Omni and a STEM. And if we win it, then, yeah, watch out, first-person shooters.
That'll be dangerous.
Yes.
Watch out myself, just for trying to learn how to use any of it.
Exactly. All right, so until tomorrow when we go over the AAA titles and probably handhelds. I think we can fit handhelds in. I don't know, but we'll find out. Until then, this is DerTebbers.
Y'all take it easy.
Hey, who are you?
What do I have to announce? It's DasTebbers, in case you forgot.
You can always forget you.
I'm not that forgettable.
Oh, hush.
Ugh.
Until tomorrow, bye.